Hey, Joe, we are live.
Great. Good afternoon. My name is Joseph Seemek. I'm Director of Public Works for Harford County and Chairman of the Northeast Maryland Waste Disposal Authority. Andrew, have you confirmed that we've established a quorum?
We do have a quorum for today's meeting. I'd also like to introduce the staff in the room. We have Kim Gordon, John Schott, Tracy Baker, Sabrina Ross, and myself, Andrew Case.
Great, thank you. The chair calls to order the 382nd meeting of the Northeast Maryland Waste Disposal Authority, June 3rd, 2025. The minutes of our previous meeting on April 1st, 2025 have been reviewed and approved by the members, and they are posted on the authority's website. We have provided information on the authority's website to allow the public to view this meeting via YouTube live stream, and today's authority meeting agenda does have items that will include a closed session. I do ask that members please identify yourselves before speaking or to make or second a motion. Is there a motion on action item 2025-3-1?
Anthony Russell, Baltimore County, I'll motion.
Thank you. Second?
Charles Glass, Maryland Environmental Service, second.
Thank you. Discussion?
Action item number 2025-3-1, the award of transfer station retrofit construction services contract for Frederick County. This work will be funded via a county purchase order. The authority worked with Frederick County to develop specifications for a construction contractor to retrofit the transfer station located at the Wrightsford Road landfill in Frederick County, Maryland. The purpose of the retrofit is to provide a separate unloading area for small, non-commercial loads by adding 4 portal openings on the western side of the transfer station building. On March 28, 2025, the authority issued a request for proposals for the construction services. The RFP was advertised on the authority's website, eMaryland Marketplace, and sent to vendors that have provided similar services. Geosyntec Consultants, through its on-call contract with the authority, prepared the design documentation, provided procurement and permitting support, and will provide quality assurance services during construction. An addendum was issued on April 29, 2025, amending the contract documents and to respond to vendors' requests for clarifications, including questions from the pre-proposal meeting held on April 17, 2025. 3 companies submitted proposals in response to the RFP: ARA Construction, United Enterprises Construction, and Warner Construction. The authority issued requests for clarifications to ARA and Warner Construction, confirming costs and the technical requirements of the RFP. ARA included a list of exceptions and clarifications in their proposal response and increased their original cost proposal. Prices supplied by the company are as follows: ARA Construction, $509,840, $431,517,299. United Enterprises Construction met the technical requirements of the RFP and provided the lowest overall price proposal. Staff requests approval to enter into a contract with United Enterprises Construction, substantially in the form of the draft construction service agreement, including mirror agreement with Frederick County, provided to the board and made publicly available on the authority's website, subject to approval from Frederick County.
Thank you. Are there any questions or any discussion from the members? Hearing none, all in favor of action item 2025-3-1, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstention? Hearing no opposition, that item is approved. Is there a motion on action item 2025-3-2?
Move Charles Glass.
Thank you. Any second?
I'll second. Baltimore County, Anthony Russell.
Thank you. Discussion?
Action item number 2025-3-2, award of master service agreement for solid waste material transportation services for Baltimore City. These services we funded via a city purchase order. On behalf of Baltimore City, the authority issued a request for proposals on March 19, 2025 for supplemental transportation of solid waste material transportation services from the city's Northwest Transfer Station to facilities identified by the authority as facilities for final processing or disposal. The authority intends to enter into a master service agreement with one company providing general terms and conditions for the city to enter into a separate transaction or written confirmation with the company for the specific solid waste material transportation services. The initial term of the master service agreement will be from July 1st, 2025 to June 30, 2030. The authority will have the option to renew the agreement for up to 5 additional 12-month periods. Per the RFP, companies were required to propose $ per ton per mile transportation fees for multiple mileages from the Northwest Transfer Station. The requested services include transfer of municipal solid waste, recovered material, cardboard, and glass. The RFP was advertised on the authority's website, eMaryland Marketplace, and sent to companies which have provided similar services in the region. A non-mandatory pre-proposal meeting and tour was held at the Northwest Transfer Station on April 2nd, 2025. Addenda were issued on April 10th, 2025 and April 21st, 2025 to respond to company requests for clarifications, including questions from the pre-proposal meeting. Addendum number 1 allowed for multiple cost proposal forms based on the type of trailers to be provided for the service. The following 3 companies submitted proposals in response to the RFP by the April 23rd, 2025 due date: Alitas Trucking, Balsam, and WB Services. A summary table of the cost proposals is provided under this action item 2025-3-2 on the authority's website. Balsam and WB Services submitted more than one cost proposal form based on type of trailer. Alitas provided the lowest cost proposal. However, based on Alitas's proposal in response to the services requested within the RFP, Alitas is not reasonably susceptible of award due to concerns regarding the availability of resources to satisfy the city's transportation requirements and the availability of requested financial documentation. Balsam and WB Services met the minimum requirements of the RFP and each have sufficient resources to service Baltimore City. Balsam and WB Services provided all technical and financial documentation as provided. Balsam provided the lowest responsive proposal for mileages specific to the city's current operational needs for supplemental transportation services. For municipal solid waste less than or equal to 25 miles from the Northwest Transfer Station, Balsam proposed $1.906 per ton per mile for use of closed-top compactor trailers, $1.712 per ton per mile for use of walking floor loaded by the city's compactor, $3.26 per ton per mile for use of walking floor trailers loaded over the top. For single stream recovered materials less than or equal to 25 miles from the transfer station, Balsam proposes $1.557 per ton per mile for compactor trailers, $1.486 per ton per mile for walking floors loaded by the city's compactor, and $1.81 per ton per mile for walking floor trailers loaded over the top. Balsam was deemed by representatives from the city and the authority, the evaluation team, to be most advantageous to Baltimore City. Staff requests approval of the selection of Balsam as the contractor for this procurement and to authorize the executive director to execute the master service agreement with Balsam in substantially the form of the draft agreement provided to the board and as made publicly available on the authority's website. Execution of such contract will be subject to approval from Baltimore City.
Thank you. Are there any questions or any discussion from the members? Hearing none, all in favor of action item 2025-3-2, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing no opposition, that item is approved. Is there a motion on action item 2025-3-3?
Maria Pereira.
Move.
It's okay.
Thank you. Second?
Brian
Maria.
Bokey, Carroll County.
Very good.
Andrew, did you get that? We had a couple of voices. What did you get there as the motion and the second?
The motion by Maria Pereira and the second by Brian Bokey.
Great, thank you. That helps me understand it. Appreciate that. Discussion.
Action item number 2025-3-3, award of service agreements for the processing and recycling of recovered materials. This is for Baltimore City, Carroll County, and Frederick County. These services will be funded via purchase order by the respective jurisdiction. At the request of Baltimore City, Carroll County, and Frederick County, the authority conducted a procurement for the processing and recycling of recovered materials. The request for proposals issued on February 20th, 2025, required the proposer to accept, process, and recycle all recovered materials transferred to the company's processing facility by the applicable jurisdiction or an authority transportation contractor. The RFP was advertised on the authority's website and e-Maryland marketplace. The RFP was also sent to recycling processing companies in the region. The RFP required proposers to propose under a market-based cost proposal for the jurisdiction's single-stream material and source-separated cardboard. The jurisdictions will receive 75% of the dollar per ton blended commodity value. This includes proposers' transfer and disposal rate for residue of the material based on industry high price market indices and current or future commodity compositions. The proposer's dollar per ton processing fee is subtracted from the specific jurisdiction's portion of the blended commodity value to determine the service fee or the tip fee. Proposers also were allowed to propose a transfer and disposal rate for the rejected tonnage under a standard operation protocol for any heavily contaminated loads based on visual volumetric basis delivered to the processing facility by the jurisdiction or the authority's transportation contractor, in addition to a residue rate under the blended commodity value calculation. The proposed transfer and disposal for rejected tonnage could not be higher than the proposed residue rate under the market-based blended commodity value calculation. The authority issued an addendum on March 19th, 2025, updating the draft service agreement provided within the RFP and to respond to questions from interested companies. The authority received proposals from BFI Transfer Systems of Virginia, doing business as Northern Virginia Material Recovery Facility, or MRF, and WM Recycle America by the due date of March 31st, 2025. The cost proposals are as follows. BFI, for its Northern Virginia MRF, proposed a single stream processing fee of $99 per ton, a residue rate of $71.12 per ton, and a cardboard processing fee of $45 per ton. Waste Management Recycle America, for its Elkridge MRF, proposed single stream processing fee of $116 per ton, a residue rate of $95 per ton, and a cardboard processing fee of $60 per ton. Both companies responded to the authority's request for clarifications issued on May 1st, 2025. Included within those clarifications were confirmations on the recyclable material sort protocols, residue percentages for rejected tonnages, inflation adjustments, operational reporting, end market data, and acceptable material items for the jurisdictions. The evaluation team, consisting of staff from the authority, Baltimore City, Carroll County, and Frederick County, evaluated the technical and cost proposals, and it was determined that those proposals met the technical requirements, technical qualifications of the RFP. The evaluation team recommends awarding service agreements to WM Recycle America for the processing and recycling of Baltimore City, Carroll County, and Frederick County recovered materials due to the distance from the jurisdiction's respective transfer stations to Waste Management Recycle America's processing facility. The service agreement term for Carroll and Frederick County's material will be from July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2030, with 5 optional 12-month periods. The service agreement term for Baltimore City material will be from July 1st, 2026 to June 30th, 2030, with 5 optional 12-month periods. Staff is requesting approval for the executive director to execute service agreements with WM Recycle America, including their respective mirror agreements with Baltimore City, Carroll County, and Frederick County, in substantially the forms of the draft agreements provided to the board and made publicly available on the authority's website, subject to approval from Baltimore City, Carroll County, and Frederick County as applicable. Waste Management Recycle America is the authority's current processing contractor for the jurisdictions. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions or any discussion from the members?
Mr. Seemack, I have one question.
Sure.
Is the general, I can't read from the synopsis the transport costs to the different facilities, but it's for the board, it's to be understood that driving to Manassas costs much more money than the delta in the costs for each of the 3 costs. Is that what we're to understand, that it's more than $25, $30 a ton to transport it all the way to Manassas over Elkridge?
Yeah, the costs are significant from the jurisdiction's transfer stations to the Manassas facility. So the delta doesn't make up for the increased cost to go to Manassas.
Did you have that information written down someplace? I mean, did you, in the analysis?
I do have that. I do have that, yes.
I'd just love to see it, just not.
So I can,
It doesn't change my vote. I'm interested in the delta in mileage costs, but I'm sure for Carroll and for Frederick might be pretty close. Like, I don't know if there's a back way for Frederick to go across a bridge.
Baltimore City currently manages their own transportation, so they do it internally right now. I would say Frederick County was the closest. So they were pretty comparable to what they're paying now with Manassas and the Manassas MRF as well as the Elkridge MRF. They were close. It just came down to, okay, if the price is the same, are you going to deliver it, 90 miles to Manassas compared to, the mileage to Elkridge?
And how did the commodity sales work? Were you saying the commodity sales are already taken into consideration in this price, or there's some percentage that's given back?
So it's based on recycling market indices. I believe it's called the PPL indices, as well as recyclingmarkets.net, where that gets updated on a weekly basis. So based on there's a value for each commodity, and that includes residue, the proposed company's residue rate. So that's all applied to their composition based on the sort. You get a total value based on those commodity values, including the residue. And then you adjust that by the company's processing fee to determine their tip fee.
So just to be almost layman's terms, does Waste Management Recycle America get the revenue from the commodity, or do the jurisdictions get the revenue from the commodity? Or is it taken out of the price? It's already in consideration
It's
of
taken out
the,
of, it's
already
like it's a
included in the
formula,
price?
right? Correct. That is concluded. So the market price index, then you take 75% of that market price index minus a processing fee, the proposed processing fee to determine the tip fee.
Okay, well,
So
all
the
right,
tip
thanks a lot.
fee, the tip fee factors in all the market revenue as well as your processing costs to determine your tip fee.
Yeah, but I mean, but the market changes. So like if cardboard spikes up,
Right.
right, then it's already
Yeah.
built.
Yeah.
Will the jurisdictions get anything for the market jumping if it happened? Or if it crashes, they get the discount and it's already built in. So wherever it's based on the market right now when the agreements are made, correct?
Right.
So if it changes in
Correct.
the interim, whoever has to eat it on whichever side, they eat it. Well, whether it's the jurisdictions get less revenue or the company that's doing the recycling gets less revenue from
Right.
selling commodities, right? I'm just trying to understand.
Right.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. All good.
Any other questions or any other discussion from the members? Okay, thank you. Is it, blah, blah, blah. All in favor of action item 2025-3-3, please say aye.
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 Any
Aye.
opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing no opposition, that item is approved. Is there a motion on action item 2025-3-4?
Move
This is
Charles
Karen.
Lapp.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead,
Second,
I'll second if Ms. Henry already is first.
That sounds good. I move.
great,
Second.
thank you.
Karen.
Someday we'll do these in person again. We won't have to go through all this, but anyhow, thank you very much.
And I heard they used to get lunch, but I only heard that because I've always been after COVID.
That was a long time ago, but anyway, we'll talk about that in another meeting. Discussion.
Good afternoon and thank you all. This action item 2025-3-4 is the fiscal year 2026 budget for the Northeast Maryland Waste Disposal Authority. Within this budget package, you have attachments that speak to our goals, our preliminary work plan, the proposed fiscal 2026 budget, including funding sources, a breakdown of the other category within the administrative fund, a more detailed breakdown of the budget proposal details, our fiscal year 2026 contract status and recommendations. These are our on-call contracts. A summary of our accomplishments in the preceding fiscal year of 2025. And then for reference in your discussions, the survey of participating subdivisions, cost of living adjustments, and merit increases. It is not my intention to read through every single page. You should be happy to note. What I will do, though, is briefly cover for each one of the member jurisdictions and then regionally some of our goals. I'll point out some interesting information through the budget proposal package and then highlight some of our accomplishments for the benefit of the board. Our goals for FY26 starting with Anne Arundel County, we want to continue to maintain and operate the contract for the landfill gas energy facility at the Millersville landfill and resource recovery facility. We're also going to be managing the agreement with Denali and related task order for the county for the acceptance, processing, operations, marketing, and distribution of yard material organics at the Millersville landfill and resource recovery facility. We're going to continue to certify and market renewable energy credits for the solar project at the Millersville landfill that the county owns. And we're going to continue to provide marketing and outreach services to the county's recycling program through the authority's procured on-call provider. For the city of Baltimore, we're transitioning away from an incumbent biosolids composting facility of greater than 30 years to a new contract. So we're going to be starting that new contract and also closing out the facility as directed by the facility. We're also going to assist the city with certain operations and maintenance tasks related to help achieve permit compliance at the Quarantine Road landfill. And then we have 3 substantial projects that are very important to the administration in the city as it pertains to facilities for employees at 3 sanitation yards that include master planning, construction, and rehabilitation services. For Baltimore County, we're going to continue to help them with solid waste planning efforts and waste diversion planning efforts as directed. We're going to be providing support for landfill gas reporting at the Eastern Sanitary Landfill. We're going to be managing the bulk materials collection service contract and the related task order for that. That just started in January and will be continuing on. And then assist the county as they continue with their outreach and advertising for waste diversion, again, using our on-call contract. Carroll County, we will be providing continued support for electronics collection and reuse recycling through our master service agreement. And in a similar vein, under a similar master service agreement, providing support for tire collection, recycling, and beneficial reuse. We will continue to work with the county as they go through the master planning effort for their property around the landfill in Westminster, just outside of Westminster, and then provide support for household hazardous waste events as they arise. For Frederick County, we're going to continue, as just approved by the board, the recycling contract for the materials collected there in Frederick County, as well as the MSW transfer and disposal contract, and then support the electronics collection and textiles collection reuse through master service agreements. And then, as noted, provide support for the construction of the transfer station retrofit. For Harford County, just some highlights. We'll be working, assisting the county with at the Bush Valley landfill for compliance and monitoring services. And this is under a memorandum of understanding with the Maryland Environmental Service, and providing support for tire collection and recycling and beneficial use. We will also be assisting with the Waste Energy Phase 3 demolition site restoration design project. And if so directed, we will be issuing an RFP for the salvation demolition of those steam lines. In Howard County, we'll be working again on electronics recycling, as well as certain site improvements and repairs at the Alpha Ridge landfill during the fiscal year. Assisting the county with the operations plan development there at the Alpha Ridge landfill, and managing the 10-year solid waste management plan project to its completion. In Montgomery County, we're going to continue to manage the resource recovery facility contract in accordance with the service agreement and approved extension. Related to that, we'll monitor the electricity sales market and identify additional revenue opportunities. At the county's, they call it the upper lot, so recycling area, we're going to be providing support for the plastic film collection and recycling services through a master service agreement. And then we are coming to closure on a multi-year project for the remediation of the Goody landfill in Rockville. And that includes the management of 3 contracts. Regionally, we're going to continue to maintain and provide updates to the mdrecycles.org website, continue assisting our members with MRA reporting, including identifying high volume recyclers, offering, again, a suite of regional master service agreements to interested members for textile recycling, mattress and box spring recycling, tire transportation collection, recycling, and beneficial reuse, and the plastic film collection and recycling. We will be focusing this year on the request for expressions of interest, the REOI, for solar development on solid waste sites and or beneficial use of landfill gas for mainly small, closed, or rural member jurisdiction landfills. We're also going to be continue to publish our quarterly newsletter, Waste Watch. This is a summary of those projects that we take on during the year that are sent to the members as well as elected officials. Continue to participate with the Solid Waste Association of North America, SWANA, local chapter, the Maryland Recycling Network, Maryland Clean Energy Center, Municipal Waste Management Association, which is a national association, Zero Waste and Maryland Department of the Environment, regional meetings, presentations, tours, events, committees, commissions. Again, having staff present so that we can share information to our members. And then monitor and update the board on state and federal legislation and regulations that may impact the members. Attachment B in your package is the preliminary work plan for FY26. This takes a narrative approach and marries in the dollar values for all of the projects that we worked with your staff to help develop for this succeeding or for the upcoming fiscal year. Moving on to attachment C and attachment C1, a breakdown of the projects required or the payment obligations of the jurisdictions, as well as our administrative fund breakdown, which shows the cost for basically keeping the lights on and what we will be undertaking. Attachment C1 also includes presentation of the project fee or the membership fee for each jurisdiction, as well as the additional dollars due from the members for the member directed projects that we plan to undertake. I would be remiss if I didn't remind the board too that this budget is a living document. So the approval that will happen hopefully today is the map that we will be used for the remainder of the FY26. However, it will be amended. Updates will be given to the board. Additional information will be provided as new projects come up. Under attachment D to your package is the breakdown of the other fund that is mentioned in the administrative fund for the authority. Attachment E, this goes into the project level details from a budgetary standpoint. So the narrative has now been removed, and we see the numbers just with a descriptor next to them to show how we came up with our overall budget. And again, we worked with members of staff in each one of your jurisdictions to come up with these numbers based on what was planned for your jurisdiction. Attachment F, and I want to spend a few moments on this. These are the contract renewals, increases and or extension recommendations for FY 2026. And again, this is going to be part of the approval that the board hopefully will give. But I wanted to highlight a few items. For our on-call legal firms, the initial term of the contracts expires June 30, 2025, with the first of 2 one-year extensions exercised for the firms below. So we intend to exercise the extension. We are requesting an increase of $50,000 for Gordon Feinblatt LLC, and that's anticipated work related to the resource recovery facility for Montgomery County. For Pinnacle Communications Resource Company, that contract has some life left in it in the base term, so we're not extending at this time, but we are asking for approval to increase of $500,000 for the anticipated communication projects for member jurisdictions. Again, that obligation, though, is based on appropriations of each of the subject jurisdictions. We are recommending $50,000 for FY26 for Public Resources Advisory Group. These are our financial advisors. Clifton Larson Allen is the firm that provides the required audit of the authority. This is actually a piggyback contract with Carroll County. And the estimated FY25 fee is $34,500. For our on-call engineers, we are at the end of the initial term. That is June 30, 2025, and we do intend to extend for the first of the two one-year extensions. We are asking for increases in contracts for the following firms: for ARM Group LLC, an increase of $500,000. Anticipated compliance projects for Baltimore City and other projects as they arise. EA Engineering, an increase of $750,000 for projects in Baltimore City, Baltimore County, and other member jurisdictions. Geosyntec Consultants, an increase of $500,000, anticipated compliance projects. HCR Inc., an increase of $500,000. That's work related predominantly to the Montgomery County Resource Recovery Facility. And Stearns Conrad Schmidt and Schmidt Engineers Inc., SCS Engineers, an increase of $1 million for anticipated projects. And then we do not anticipate a change for the Goody remediation standalone project or the MES IGA. Attachment G is a summary of the FY25 accomplishments. Again, this is the work that the staff has performed to assist the member jurisdictions as they take on the tasks that they are required to take on. For Anne Arundel County, I just want to highlight some of these for the public. Again, for Anne Arundel County was management of the Denali contract, and that included the new stormwater permit regulations and pollution limits. So that was increasing frequency of certain cleanings, but this was done at no additional cost to the county. Also assist in their the transportation and disposal contract they have that we hold on their behalf, including annual site visits to King George Landfill, as well as visits to the Annapolis Junction Transfer Station, and then semi-annual meetings to talk about operations and as check-ins. For Baltimore City Compost Facility, we did complete that procurement for new services, and we are working with all of our consultants in support of the city as city works towards its expansion of Quarantine Road landfill. Additionally, in the city, we did start up their electronics collection and reuse and recycling program, which is an exciting thing to get rolling. We also hold the contract for the single stream recycling and processing there in the city. And then from an operational standpoint, we assisted with the installation of 3 new transfer station compactors at the Northwest Transfer Station to ensure that they could keep that facility running, moving solid waste and recycling. In Baltimore County, we provided landfill gas improvements and engineering services to Eastern Sanitary Landfill. We just recently completed the Central Acceptance Facility MRF Comprehensive System Review and Recommendation Project. So the county is reviewing its MRF and seeing what can be done, what needs to be done moving forward. We also provided certain site improvements at the public drop-offs for the electronics collection areas, again, to improve the quality of the material. And then supporting a trial test of number 5 polypropylene with a closed loop system at the county MRF. Carroll County provided support for their MSW transfer operations and disposal contract. The same with the recycling contract. We hold not only the processing contracts, but transportation contracts as well for the recovered materials, and then access to on-call engineering services for certain landfill-related compliance work. For Frederick County, again, those working through those MSAs for electronics recycling, textile recycling. We oversee the operation and management of the solar project at the Ballinger McKinney wastewater treatment plant. And then we did run a procurement for the county for their landfill services, and this is relating to environmental monitoring plan updates at the Wrightsford Road landfill. For Harford County, again, working with MES at the Bush Valley landfill for the groundwater and surface water monitoring and reporting. We also assisted the county by helping to complete the 10-year solid waste management plan update. And then we issued the RFP for design services for that phase 3 of the salvage demolition of steam lines there at the former Hartford Waste to Energy facility. Howard County, we assisted again with the waste export project, that tour, the site meetings, billing support, et cetera. Electronic support for recycling, supporting the county as they go through the installation of a new landfill gas flare there at the Alpha Ridge landfill. We're in process of move the process forward for the management of the 10-year solid waste management plan project. From Montgomery County, we've completed routine inspections there at the transfer station, and we managed the contract for the RRF water supply, greenhouse operations and maintenance. We provided a master service agreement for mattress and box spring collection and recycling services, which is it's an exciting project there in Montgomery County. A lot of mattresses are getting pulled out of the waste stream. They're also providing support for plastic film collection and recycling services. Again, that was a July 1 start. And that was a great pilot project. For regional reuse and recycling, we've continued to do maintenance and updates of the mdrecycles.org website, and that included the addition of 2 brand new directories, a refill return directory and the repair rental directory, as well. So trying to expand the services that are represented in that website that is obviously not bound by jurisdictional limits. So the entire state and indeed the entire country can reference that website. We again supported a lot of the efforts by Mid-Atlantic SWANA, including the editing and producing of a e-newsletter. That's professional development for our staff. And we did provide social media training events this past spring. We did respond to inquiries from MES and the Department of Legislative Services as required under HB 161 of 2023. That reporting is complete. And we have participated in stakeholder and task force groups led by MDE, as well as groups led by other entities, including EPA, that have importance to our members. And we communicate back to our members the activities that we're undertaking. And I thank you for bearing with me through that. The final attachment, again, for your reference, members of the board, is attachment H, which is the fiscal year 2026 salary survey.
Andrew, thank you very much. That's a tremendous amount of information, a tremendous amount of effort that you've gone through, not only for the whole year, but to summarize things so well. So thank you very much for that. Are there any other questions or any discussion from the members? Hearing none, I would like to ask for a motion to go into closed session under Maryland Annotated Code, Open Meetings Act, Section 3-305B1, to discuss compensation and performance evaluation of employees and the executive director of the authority. May I have a motion?
Anthony Russell, Baltimore County, motion.
Thank you. Second?
Second, Brian Boki, Carroll County.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
We will now turn off the live stream to the public during the closed session, and we will reopen it when we return to open session.
Okay, and so we're going to be getting ready to go to closed session. We will let you know when the live stream is turned off.
And Andrew, I will call you when we have completed our discussions in the closed session.
Correct.
And Joe, someone will take minutes for the closed session.
I forgot, sorry. I need a volunteer from one of the members to be to take minutes of our discussions during the closed session. So let you all fight that one out. Any volunteers?
So I can. Maria, Frederick County.
Maria, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm just gonna put the sign up. That's gotta go on the table.
Wow, look at that.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, we are good and live, Joe.
Great, thank you very much. During the closed session, the board discussed one, approval of a 3% cost of living increase for the authority employees, and two, the performance of the executive director, which was favorable, warranting approval of a 3% cost of living increase for the executive director. Such increases would become effective July 1 of 2025. All in favor of action item 2025-3-4, please say aye.
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 Any
Aye.
opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing no opposition, that item is approved. Do the members have any additional items for discussion at this time? Hearing none, there being no further business on the agenda, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a good day.